No immediate reaction, but the day started out just a local time. The governor got a call from his campaign letting him know that his running mate, Dick Cheney, was in the hospital in Washington, D.C., suffering chest pains, shoulder pains. The governor then picked up the telephone and called Washington and got a chance to talk with Dick Cheney.
He sounded really strong, and he informed me that as a precautionary measure, he went into the hospital. He was feeling chest pains, and turns out that subsequent tests, blood tests, and the initial EKG showed that he had no heart attack. I'm pleased to report that. I know all Americans join me and Laura in wishing him all the best. Looking forward to talking to him this afternoon to continue strategizing about this election and the election results.
It's still not clear what that election strategy is going to be, whether it is to go back to court to try to get the Supreme Court's decision overturned, whether this latest development in Miami-Dade is enough, or whether they would turn to the Republican-dominated legislature in Florida for help. But one thing is clear. Governor Bush feels like he and Dick Cheney won the election in Florida, and now there is an attempt to take it away from them.
Voters who clearly punched preferences in other races on the ballot but did not do so in the presidential race should not have their vote interpreted by local officials in a process that invites human error and mischief. All Americans want a fair and accurate count of the votes in Florida. And I believe if there is a fair and accurate count of the votes in Florida, we will prevail.
In a very hard-hitting statement from the state capitol, Governor Bush ratcheted up the rhetoric. He said that the Supreme Court in Florida, overreached. It was rewriting the law, and it was changing the rules after the election. Governor Bush ignored Vice President Gore's invitation to meet in the days ahead and instead offered him a challenge.
He should join me in calling upon all appropriate authorities in Florida to make sure that overseas military ballots that were signed and received on time count in this election. Our men and women in uniform overseas should not lose their right to vote. I hope the Vice President will personally support me in this call.
Throughout the campaign, Bush officials have said repeatedly that they felt that Vice President Gore would say or do anything to win this election. Communications director was asked if that, and she said nothing has happened to change that impression. As I said, the governor is back at the mansion. His plans now for the holiday is to have Thanksgiving dinner with his family at a private home here in Austin. And then tomorrow he's expected to go to the ranch and perhaps stay there until Saturday. But with things changing all the time, Natalie, have been very fluid up to now. That's the plan as it stands at this point. Natalie?
All right, thanks so much. We'll wait and see if that continues to be the plan. Thanks, Tony Clark in Austin. Now for more, here's Stephen.
Natalie, we've also heard of the holiday plans from the Gore campaign, but they weren't talking turkey. Just a few moments ago, we heard from campaign chairman William Daley about what the campaign plans to do now that Miami election officials have called it quits. Here's CNN's Chris Black joining us now from Washington with more about that response. Chris, hi.
Stephen, the Gore campaign would really like the Miami-Dade Canvassing Board to reverse itself and to once again resume recounting those ballots. So to that end, they're going back to court again to see if they can get an order to force the board to resume the recount. Now, Miami-Dade had been viewed by Gore campaign officials as something of a bonus county. They thought that there were enough votes in Broward and Palm Beach counties to put Al Gore over the top. But the count was going extremely well in Miami, and they really want those votes counted. Just a few minutes ago, Bill Daley, the chairman of the Gore campaign, came out to talk to reporters and tell them about how he felt about this decision.
We were disappointed by the decision of the Miami-Dade Board of Canvassers, who had previously found that there was an error in the vote count that did require a manual recount. Under Florida law, once the finding is made, the recount is mandatory. We will immediately be seeking an order directing Board of Canvassers to resume the manual recount.
Now, there's great concern within the Gore campaign that the Republicans will do anything they can to either stop this recount or slow it down. And one campaign official just told me that he believes the near riot that took place earlier today between Republican observers and the Miami police at the Miami-Dade count site led directly to the canvassing board's decision to back off. They'd called it intimidation. Meanwhile, the vice president himself is trying to stay above the fray. Earlier today, he went to a community center here in Washington with his wife Tipper and daughter Kristen to fill holiday gift baskets, food baskets for the needy. This is an annual pre-Thanksgiving Day pilgrimage for the Gore family. Stephen?
Chris, thank you. A lot happening. The campaigns of both men here. Chris Black.
Hello, I'm Sonia Rooster in Washington. You've been watching CNN USA's coverage of the U.S. presidential election. CNN will continue to bring you the latest developments on this controversial race for the White House. But after a short break, we'll return with the other world news, and we are standing by for Secretary of